I realized I did not have a good intro for this video, so I'm gonna go ahead and make an intro and do a little bit of talking. Um, this video is not 100% perfect. I'm not a professional by any means. I'm putting that disclaimer there. I'm giving you tips and tricks to try to get this install done and get it done correctly. Now, before you do anything of touching your truck, read through the instructions and get all the tools necessary, drill bits, sockets, all the parts needed. I did not. I had my own issues you'll see in the video, but I just wanted to go ahead and take the time, make this first little part, and say welcome to the video. I hope you enjoy it. Excuse the audio in some parts. I filmed this over multiple days. I had different things going on. I had thunderstorms. I had just daily swapping in and out. You can tell in the video I changed clothes, changed whatever, audio changes, but I just wanted to say appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. I hope it is informative for you, and I hope that it actually helps you install this on a Ranger or any other vehicle that you might need direction on how to install something similar to this on your vehicle. So with that being said, like I said, excuse the audio. Recording on a iPhone 13, and it's not always the best, but it does the job right now. And thank you very much. Alright, I'm going to be making a video over my 99 Ranger during a thunderstorm. I had some issues with my brake booster on the truck. It was the factory 2.5, even though it's been 302 swapped. So it messed up, and I went ahead and hit up Mr. David Schultz over at manualbrakes.com. So I contacted him, figured out what specs I needed for my truck and my application, went through everything, talked to him. Super great guy, super helpful. Was able to get me the right size master cylinder, what I plan to do with the truck. And honestly, overall, he got it shipped out super quick. I just haven't had time to do it just because of family life and stuff. I've had the kit probably about 2 weeks. Had the truck parked, haven't done anything. But now we're gonna go over some of the stuff you need to know. I done an unboxing video of it, but I don't know where the footage is. But we're just gonna get right into it and kind of skip it, but we'll go over it some. Alright, so in your kit, you're gonna get a full instruction manual. You're gonna get a mounting plate, a new rod to go to the new master, hardware, and a beautiful new master cylinder, depending on which style you go with. No, he does not supply the brake fluid. I went ahead and I've already bench bled this. So all I did was, if you can see in there, I filled it up with fluid. I used his rod. He tells you to use a different rod, but I went ahead and I just bled it through the vise. You can see I still have a couple little bubbles. With me doing it, I just tried coming out here, letting it sit, letting it just kind of be cumbersome. Then bleed it as I can to go ahead and get any more out, and so on and so forth. I probably started bleeding it 2 days ago. I'd come out here for about 5 minutes, pop, 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 let it sit, come out here the next day, pop, 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 let it sit, so on and so forth. I didn't get too crazy with it. I'm actually probably overkilling it because in his instruction, he says it could take anywhere from like 5 to 10 minutes. And I've done it multiple days, but that's just me being me. I think if you're getting those tiny little bubbles, once you fill up the system and you actually start using it, I think you'll be perfectly fine. But this is just real world things you might run into. I wanted to go ahead and bleed it on the stand to make sure that I had a good master cylinder, because in his instructions, he says go ahead and do it before you ever start to take apart your truck.
car, whatever. That way you know you have a good master cylinder before you start the install and render your truck inoperable. Yeah, you can still move it around, but you won't have no brakes. So that's why I went ahead and I did everything first on there. I'm telling you about it. Read the instructions, super great instructions, but do that first things first, and that will save you a lot of time and a lot of headache. In case factory defects can happen all the time, it's not his fault. He can't brake bleed, or he can't bench bleed every one, because that'd be a lot of time wasted and a lot of fluid wasted. And then it probably would be, you'd be like, oh, yeah, I got a messed up one, whatever. But besides that, so far the kit looks super great, super high quality. Everything is perfect. Everything looks beautiful, but we're gonna go ahead and start disassembling the truck. So to start off, I'm just gonna go ahead and remove my master from the actual brake booster. And from there, then I'm gonna go to the inside of the truck and take apart the bolts that hold the booster to the wall. I don't wanna break the lines yet because that's still full of fluid and I haven't ended up pulling everything out yet. But first steps you could do, you could go ahead and either A, suck all the fluid out of here, or B, go ahead and drain all your fluid into a bowl, cup, something to dispose of the old fluid. Because when you do this, you want to flush it with new fluids. It'll make it last longer and be a whole lot better in the long run. Thankfully, for the sake of the video, my truck was already slightly tore apart because I was doing some extra wiring on stuff. But basically, you don't need to take out all the top panels. You can basically access everything if you take off the metal lower panel, because you're going to be getting up there to that little yellow greenish pin and undoing that, and then you will have to take off the brake pedal, and then you have to drill it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to work on that, unplug that, and everything that I do I will end up saying in the video. Alright, so we're back in the cab. I don't know where I left off. I told you had to take off, you see those 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4. My truck, for some reason, from the swap, only had 2 put in. There the 2 are. I used my electric ratchet with a deep well 13 millimeter, and I was able to get the bottom 2 off. I had to do this in a Fox body, and you just have to get up there and fight and claw and get everything done. But as you can see, I also unplugged that connector. I got out that cotter pin and those 2. But once you get those taken apart and take this rod off of the actual brake rod, then you will come out here. So those 2 nuts go right there on your master cylinder. On my truck, they were a 14, so they should be on your Ranger as well. From there, you can go ahead and take that off. It'll come off, and then if you did everything correctly, you can get your old junky brake booster out of the way. So from there, you can see giant gaping hole in there. A lot more room for activities. So yeah, 14 millimeter for your master, and 13 millimeter for the bolts inside connected to the brake booster. And that's where we're at right now. All right, so I started going through some mock-up in my head and everything. Basically, come in and be holding. So that's on the firewall as we speak. So you can go ahead and attach your supplied hardware to these bottom 2 bolts and go ahead and get it snugged. Not super tight yet, but then once you have these 2 longer studs sticking out, you go ahead and stick your beautiful machined washers or spacers, whatever you want to call them, on there, and magically it is a perfect gap on both sides. That way when you tighten this down, when you start tightening it, you don't pull to one side and break this whole casting material, and you give this a firmer spot to fully sit against the firewall and not cause any issues. Honestly, David did an amazing job on this kit. It's beautiful, the craftsmanship. I've gotten a lot of parts from companies that try to brag about how they do stuff and everything like that, and most of the time the fit and finish is alright. There's a lot of rough edges on it, but honestly, the way that piece came out, I'm not just saying that how it is, but like he made that look really good and provided perfect hardware. I'm just so excited to have this kit on. But just wanted to show y'all, show y'all how to do that, how that's gonna go in the truck. Once I get more stuff mounted up, I'll then show you everything. All right, so update. I had to pull the slave cylinder out to get the clutch rod out to free the brake assembly. Also went ahead and scuffed that up, touched it up with some paint lightly. Come back into the truck. There's technically 5 bolts you have to take off. And in 1 second, I will show you where all 5 are. Alright. So your whole assembly, actually it's probably 6, but mine's broken. Alright, so if we bring this over here to the workbench, actually my wife's milking stand at the moment, you have the 1, 2, 3, 4. Now those 4 are going to be your brake booster. 5, 6. I had it here. That was a 13 millimeter. I had nothing in this slot. So, and then you have to take out your clutch rod. You can maybe, if you really want to do, you could probably cut it. Either or, it doesn't matter. But that's out now. So now I have to take that clip off, get this out, and pull off my brake pedal and get to marking and drilling. All right, so got this little pin off. You come over to your clutch pedal. You get that rod out, and when it comes out, your brake pedal will come out. Now, before I put all this back in, I'm going to clean this rod up. I'm just going to sand it down, and I'm going to sand all this down and put some grease in there to help it stay lubed up. Probably some lithium to try to make sure that it stays nice and good, so I have no issues out of the future. But just before you put this in, like I said, sand it down, clean it up, try to make it look pretty so you don't have to get back in the future. That's my only advice. And if you have an automatic truck, don't worry about any of that. Just worry about your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take that out. Ta-da! There you got a brake pedal. And from there, I'll move on to the next. All right, per the instructions, he gives you everything to come through and modify your brake pedal as needed. I guess on some, the pin won't come out, so it's attached to that whole piece and it won't come out. But I was able to get mine out, and per the instructions, you measure down from the center line 2 1/16 inch center line down,
and 9/16 in.
So you
Now-
get that marked, you go through, start off, center punch it slowly, and very good lubrication per his instructions. If you've ever used the drill and drill bits, you know. If not, now you know. Use lubrication. Use WD-40, use Kroll, use any lubricant you have. Penetrating oil, anything will work. Keep it lubricated, keeps the drill bit cool, don't rush it. That brake pedal is hardened steel. It's gonna take a minute. You wanna burn up drill bits? Be my guest, go ahead and do it. For me, I'm just gonna take my time. I bought a brand new set just to do this, so it is what it is. I walked over here to the truck because I'm gonna show y'all the next step that I'm gonna do a little different than he said, just because I have a different tool for it. Use whatever you have, make the cut work, it'll be okay. From here, I'm gonna turn the camera back around and show you in the engine bay. Freshly painted, and then I already had to scratch it. Of course, my luck. Didn't read through every bit like I should have, missed that step. I'm a dingus, it happens. So, with your adapter plate, if you look down here at your holes, this one is elongated, this one's straight, straight, straight. Now, it says measure and find the center line of that. So, measured, marked it. I didn't have a felt tip marker and I wanted to solid anyway, so I just scratched it. If you have a red truck, white truck, purple truck, blue truck, green truck, yellow, who knows, whatever colors the rainbow, it'll work great. But for black, it is what it is. So scratched it, and I've got a little burr bit on for my like an air tool, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just like Dremel that out real quick. You can use a Dremel. By his instruction, he just says use angle grinder. But for me, I'm so sorry my shop is a mess. I'm gonna use this bad guy. I've used it on multiple things, and it will eat straight through that. But like I said, go ahead, and what you're gonna do is Dremel it out and basically try to make it where when you put your mounting plate on, your hole, I'm sorry, this is gonna get a little bad, will be able to go straight through there. See how it hits? You can't see my mark too well, but it's gonna hit. So you just gotta Dremel that out some. It doesn't have to be a whole lot. It's just gotta be some, and from there, that's when you'll finish bolting it up. I think I said earlier that you put this from the inside of the truck and then mount it up. I had it backwards. That's my fault. This does go on the outside, and you do get to see the beautiful piece. So glad. So it's going to be wonderful. You can see that. You can see all this hard work. And it's not going to be hidden underneath your dash. So, like I said, that's my fault. Should have read it further ahead. I am going through this as a novice. I did not read ahead. I should have, to give the best possible information. But if you think like I do, now you know. That goes on the engine bay side. You still do the spacers the same way. Alright, so as you can see, I used that little burr bit, and I extended it out on both sides. Try to match the contour of the plate. You don't have to do that. You can just go straight up. But as you can see, maybe, I don't have anything blocking it now. So, that's good. That's a success. Go ahead, get you a little paint pen, clean all of your marks up. Now, nobody's gonna see it, but make you feel better. Like I said, I did mine with that little burr bit. It's pretty good for the most part. It cuts really fast. Cuts clean if you take your time. That was probably like a 30-second hack job. So, oh well. But like I said, take your time, do it. Nobody's gonna see it ever again unless you take it off. But you can just go, instead of going like round like I did, just go boop. That's it. Angle grinder. Try to just like work it in there here. If you have a Dremel tool, just Dremel it out. Have that burr bit, whatever. Just take your time on it. Don't get in a rush. Cover anything that you don't want sparks to get onto. If you have an air filter open, like with my truck, it's carbureted, so I have a giant air filter on top. You have anything where, like, maybe you have a gas leak, maybe you have an oil leak. Cover everything up if you're going to be throwing sparks. That's why I did that. I've got a slight oil leak, like from valve cover, nothing like major. It's a gasket O-ring on my breather setup, but it leaks a little bit, so I didn't want to throw any sparks, and I didn't really want sparks going into the cab, burning up my sparkos, anything like that. So just took my time, used the burr bit. It'll be fine. But that's an update on that, and video will catch up in just a moment.
All right, so back in it. It's been about a day or two. I don't know. But found both my drills and my center punch, and I've came in here and I have measured and marked my hole. So per the instructions, you're going to come down 2 1/16 and over 9/16. So all I did was I took my tape and I put the 16th right in the middle. As you can see, it's lined up. All I did was just come down here with my punch. I just scratched it so I could make a mark to show, and then you have to go in 9/16. Went in exactly 9/16. Made another little mark and center punched it, and now I'm ready to drill it. I've already got my starter bit in, which he recommends doing in 1/8, and that's, sorry for the close-up, that's exactly what I got in there. The only thing, I don't have the correct 3564 drill bit at the moment in this kit, so I'm going to look through all my drill bits and see if I have it, because I bought multiple kits and I haven't looked for that drill bit. So hopefully I have it, but I'm going to go ahead and drill out the first hole so it's knocked out and done, and then from there hopefully I have an update and I have a drill bit. So alright everybody, it's been about, I told y'all, probably like 2 seconds for y'all, 10 seconds for y'all, whatever. Yeah, it's about 30-40 minutes for me. Mostly just trying to hunt down drill bits and everything, but got the hole drilled out, and it the pin fits perfectly. I did not have the exact 35/64 drill bit, so I got it as close as I could and used that little same burr bit I used, and I just reamed it out just a hair. Pin fit perfectly. Now, do I recommend you doing that? No. Buy the 35/64 drill bit and you will be perfect. Perfect. That was poor planning on my part, but that's just me saying other things can be done. Now, do I recommend you doing it? No. Stick to the instructions and follow that. But alright, so we have the makeshift workbench here. I've got my bracket underneath the dash. I've got my clutch pedal. I went ahead and cleaned all that up. I somewhat cleaned that up. I got to decide if I'm going to paint it right now or not. But obviously, here's your pin. There's my hole. You can tell it's right where it needs to be. And it's got a little bit, and then boom. Alright, stopping the video right here. I wanted to address the fact that my pin in the video is wrong. Now, this is the cause of me not having the correct drill bit and me using that burr bit to try to wiggle it out. I thought the pin needed to be slightly loose in there so it would be able to put in there. If you read the instructions, once again, it says you're going to press it in there, hammer it in there, and that's why he wants you to have the cotter pin slot in the direct orientation so you can put it in underneath the dash. Now, like I said, I fixed mine. I used a lot of JB Weld on it. It is secure, it is hard. I've driven the truck, it is phenomenal with it, no issues. I've checked on it after driving down the road. My pedal hasn't moved, but I'm just telling you this because fix it right and do not drill yours out as big as mine, or you will have to do the same JB Weld fix, or you'll have to actually weld it. I could have welded it, but I didn't know if the pin was stainless and then my brake pedal was steel, and I didn't want to get into all that. JB Weld was a quick solution for me. Not a perfect solution, is not the correct way to do it, but it works. From there, like I said, I'm going to get back into the video, and I just wanted to stop it for that, so thanks. With a 35/64, yours should be right on the money. It was my fault, but honestly, the truck is it's not perfect to me. I'm not that worried about it. I've driven a lot worse vehicles with a lot worse brakes than that, and if that's the only thing I got to worry about for a little bit of slop, perfect. And you got to think, once you have all the arms on, all the washers on, it'll be fine. Like I said, I went ahead and I wire wheeled that some, tried to clean that up some. I really cleaned that rod because it's going to go in through there and in through there, and you'll never see it again unless you have to pull it out. Now, you have a couple choices. You can use the White Lithium by PB Blaster grease. You can use WD-40 Specialist White Lithium grease. Obviously, they say heavy-duty lubrication, rust inhibiting, metal applications, or you can use a grease like this, made with pure silicone. That's probably what I'm going to use. I've had really good luck with it in the past. Pick something that is your preference. Do a little research on it. Try to do preventative maintenance in that aspect so you never have to worry about that issue again. It's easier to do it once and forget about it. So, I'm going to go with the pure silicone like grease. I'm going to put some gloves on, like really like coat it and lube it up. Shove it all back together, install it onto the piece, and once I get it done, I'll show y'all everything installed, and then we'll get back to throwing it on the truck. So, give me just half a second, and it'll be all back together just like... Alright, so, I put everything together on the bench to show, realized, and I'm going to emphasize this. 1, I'm an idiot. 2, get the correct size drill bit. 3, read all the instructions before you start anything. So in the instructions, with that 35/64, yes, drill bit, it opens up the hole just enough so you can press that pin in there. Now, I'm going to make mine work just fine. I have no issues with it. I messed it up because I didn't have the right tools, and I need the truck done by tomorrow. So I had to make it work. Had something come up. Need the truck. It's the way it goes. I used the wrong size drill bit. I widened the hole out. If I would have stopped where I was at before I used the deburring tool and just hammered that sucker in, I'd have been perfect. But I did not listen to the instructions, which he says to do. I'm not faulting David at all. This is all on Logan. Logan messed this up. But I have a solution. It's going to fix it. Y'all, I don't need to know about it because it is kind of ghetto, but it's going to work. Especially for my application. But I'm going to show y'all how it sits right now and how y'all's will need to look when your pin is pressed in. He does say support it, so when you put the pin in, it is at the 7 o'clock position for the hole, so it does not interfere, and you can put your cotter pin on. Now, notice that in your instructions because he does list it clearly, but this is what it looks like. So everything's together. You can see I've got grease everywhere. I've got my pin installed. Like I said, is not perfect because I messed up, but as you can see right now, this isn't the permanent fix. This is just to show y'all for the video. I have a little bit of green tape right there. But right now I've got the arm in and it goes in, cotter pins in, but that's how you will set everything up. I'm pretty sure I'm still gonna have to notch right here some, but that'll be super easy to notch out. I'll probably do it before I even install it into the truck. And yeah, like I said, make sure you grease everything because as you can tell, I greased everything. But like I said, get your correct drill bit, read the instructions, and press it in. It's like 1 o'clock as I'm doing this in the morning, and I guess I just pressing in to me just meant dropping in. So that's on me. Pay attention, do it right. We still gonna get this. It's still gonna work great. It's still gonna be better than the brakes that I have on the truck right now, which is none at all. Just remember the booster's laying out. But don't worry about me. You do the correct thing. Press that pin in 7 o'clock position for your cotter pin to fit, and you'll be a-okay. Me, I'm a little dumb, but I'm kind of a redneck. I have a solution. Is it the best solution? No. But is it going to work for me? Yes. So I got that pin pushed in now. Don't worry about it. And I went ahead and took that little burr bit and I went ahead and dremeled that hole out somewhat. Is that probably way too big? Yeah, but whenever we get it installed, we'll see. And then you can justify when you're cutting yours if you want to go bigger or smaller. So just wanted to show you all that before I start installing stuff into the truck. So, all right, let's get it going. All right, I'm going to give a little tech tip. I've got a magnet. Obviously, that's aluminum plate. It's not going to stick to it. But when you put that plate in there, it does not want to stay put, obviously, because the button head bolts are too short. Then when you add on the pedal assembly on the inside, it wants to push out. It's hard to just maneuver. So if you wedge something, which I had it wedged down here, but I've already got it somewhat in there, but you can, push it up, wedge it in there, and then you can come inside. Oh, sorry. And you can get your nuts started. And I went ahead and everything's in the way. You can see I got that top bolt started. Like I said, I'm missing a bolt, so you can go ahead and get both bolts up there going. Come down here, check your alignment on everything. Like he says in the instructions, that doesn't have to be super tight. As you can see, that hole I drilled out on that adapter, it was like perfect size, which is way too big on the pedal assembly, but in the firewall, it was perfect. So like I said, you can do a lot less. I just did what I could to just do it once so I didn't have to come back and do it again. From there, I'll go ahead and tighten everything not super snug, but just snug it up some. And that's when you can come in with your other bolts, screw them in, and once they're screwed in, do not over tighten them. You have to align everything up to make sure it's center.
And then from there, that's when you can take your new master cylinder, put onto it, and bolt everything up. Then start snugging everything up slowly and surely before you put your master cylinder on. Hang on. I have it right here. Put your rod through the hole with the washer out towards the master, because if you look, obviously that fits in there perfectly. The washer helps retain it so it doesn't really walk around. The washer helps. Then you got to think, once it's all squished down and everything, it should stay pretty center for the most part, and you shouldn't have any issues. But like I said, wanted to catch you up to speed on that, give you a little trick. That helps with not having to have two people, because my wife's inside asleep and I'm not going to get her because I don't have a watch on anymore. It's inside on charge. It's late. I'm not doing that. But it's pinned up together. I've got the bottom two bolts and nuts started. I'm going to grab the top two now, thread them through, start slightly snugging up, checking my alignment, making sure everything's right. Then from there, I'm going to go ahead and put the adjustment rod through and start working on it that way. And whenever I get a little bit more progress, I'll show you updates and try to give you tips and tricks on how to get this installed easily. Most of the video I've messed up on. You're learning all of what not to do. So this is a great video for y'all. Alright, so little update. I've got the master cylinder in. I've got the rod on. I don't have the brake pedal attached to the rod yet, because I was trying to go about mocking up brake lines. Now, on my truck, it's not like the XLT 4.0s and probably some of the 3.0s that have the big sensor on the front of the master. Mine has a ABS, I think it is, like splitter, proportioning valve type ordeal on the side of the engine bay. Now, my truck is not running a computer. It is fully carbed. I want to remove it. For me to do that, I'm going to need the correct flares, and I'm going to need a flaring tool. So, with that being said, I have a regular flaring tool, but I only have it to do a single flare. So I don't have the exact piece to do a double flare like what the true brake lines need. So I have to run to the doctor's tomorrow. So when I'm out, I'm going to go ahead and pick up a double flare, a flaring kit from like AutoZone, O'Reilly, something. And I'm going to show you in just a second how I want to run my brake lines and what I'm going to delete, so on and so forth. But this isn't part of the kit because it's nothing he supplies, but it's something you need to be aware of, that you're going to have to cut your brake lines and reflare them. Alright, so in the kit, he provides these little plastic plugs. So as you can see, the plugs are in, that plug's in. And that brake line is mocked up in there. But if you follow that routing, it goes all the way under and it comes to this valving. Now, it was plugged up, so on and so forth, but then you leave, and that goes to my front brake line. Alright, so I pulled up my caliper because I didn't have a better tool measurement at the moment. And I measured the flare, the end piece,
whatever you want to call it. Measured it, and then I measured the one that's on the back brake line, and they are to be confirmed on this truck anyways, 2 different sizes. So what I'm going to do is tomorrow I'm just going to go to the doctor, leave the doctor, go to Advance O'Reilly, something like that, and then go ahead and get the flaring tool, probably get new flares, whatever, and then cut off both the front and rear brake, just snip them. That way I can re-flare them with these correct fittings, and then I can put them into the correct orientation on the master cylinder. Put the front one closer to the cab, rear one closer to the radiator. That way it at least matches how the factory setup was. But so I'm going to reflare those tomorrow. That works out, I guess, because I can let my fix for the brake pin harden up, cure. And with that, I'm about to clean up, go to bed, and then once I get those flares fixed and the brake hooked up, I'll come back through, show you in the video the final product and how everything works, and show you how you need to, like, not per se tighten everything, but how you need to adjust your rod and everything. He lays it out in the instructions, but I read through it and understand what he's saying to do. You want that brake pedal all the way up, so when you push down the brakes, you have the most throw possible without, hurting anything. Because if it's real shallow and you push it and then you bottom out the brake pedal and you only get like that much travel, you're not going to be fully engaged in the brakes. Now, if you have a lot of travel and you push that sucker in, you'll hit a stopping point and you'll stop. So that's why he wants you to adjust it all the way out. And then cinch it down, lock nut it, the whole 9 yards. But we'll go over that tomorrow. I'm going to clean up real quick and I'm going to bed. Sorry. But I'll start this back tomorrow whenever I get home from the doctor's. So, alright. So, this is going to be the last clip. Everything is fully installed. Haven't gotten to drive it yet just due to getting it done kind of late tonight. Ran into some issues today. Had to remake a couple brake lines. Besides that, everything's on. Just know that when you do redo this, just because it's general brakes and master cylinder stuff, you will need and have to re-bleed all your brakes to try to get any air bubbles, regardless if you don't think you got any air bubbles to get out of the system. So I've only done the front brakes at the time. I've got a great pedal feel. I have another project about to roll into the shop, so I'm just getting this where it's movable, and then tomorrow, for me, I can go ahead and pull the back wheels off, have my wife step on the brake, bleed the brakes out on the rear, and then everything will be hunky-dory, and then I'll drive it down the road and see how she does. Overall, install on like a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this like a 4. To me, it wasn't hard. Yeah, you have to do quite a few steps. You have to do a decent amount of assembly and drilling and everything like that. But like this compared to like a motor swap is so easy and so worth it.
hopefully when you see the finished product, like I said, my wiring in the truck is still atrocious. I've got to come back and clean it up. Probably whenever I do clean up all the wiring, I'm going to come through and maybe redo brake lines because I don't like the way they look the best. They function perfectly, and I actually did cut them down and shorten them quite a bit, and I had to rent a flaring tool from AutoZone and do the double flare on the brake lines, which that was a new one for me. I've always done single flares on a lot of other things, not brakes. But so got all that taken care of. Had an accident with one of the brake lines that snapped in half, but got everything fixed, got everything replaced. Got my whole interior back together. We're gonna get underneath, and I'm gonna show y'all everything under there. But right now, I'm about to show y'all the engine bay, and then as soon as that's done, I'm gonna move straight to the inside the cab. So enjoy this little bit of engine beautifulness, because honestly, seeing this compared to that big old ugly brake booster, it's phenomenal. And the pedal feel. Oh, the pedal feels amazing. So to me, yes, I know I've got my little custom clutch bracket right there, but I've debated relocating it down. But honestly, having that in there frees up so much room. Now, if I need to mess with my clutch, I can. I don't have to pull my whole brake master, brake booster out just to mess with my clutch stuff. It's right there. Oh man, I gotta look at my drive shaft, or I gotta look at the hole where it goes into the cab. Yeah, somebody stuck a lot of kill mat on that, or whatever it is. But there it is. Honestly, to me, that takes out so much room. Well, it gives so much room. Looks beautiful. Like you see, there's my two brake lines. I had to cut and reflare both of them. The one, it's going down to a little Y on the front. And that other one, it goes obviously to the back. Now, they look decent, but I could do better on them, and I plan to. But also, I plan to move that, so on and so forth. But that's for another day. So now, since you've seen underneath the hood, it's still dirty in here, but I got the whole interior put back together. I am probably going to come back down here and readjust my brake pedal some, because it is really high compared to like my... Oh, that feels so good. It is really high compared to my like clutch pedal and stuff, and I kind of want them the same. So here's how I'm doing it. I didn't see it in the video or in the instructions, but I had to do it for mine. As you can even see, I'm so sorry. So let me push the clutch in. Alright, so you can see I've got my rod, got my lock nut, I've got the bushing, or the little hum, and then the tail light. I probably need to come in there and put in a washer right there. But for now, my brake lights work. Everything works. I was able to get the cotter pin in easily. And no issues going through there. I got a really good pedal feel right now. It's not like overly hard, but I guarantee it's just because I don't have the backs fully bled, but I will get to that. But yeah, that's how it sits underneath. I will recommend go ahead and cut off your old brake booster rod before you stick it back in the truck. I didn't and ended up having to cut it off with a grinder in here. Luckily, I don't have carpet. I have a vinyl floor, so I was able to do it
somewhat easy. But, yep. There she is, installed. That's honestly not too bad. Hopefully it lasts a lot longer than the brake booster and everything else. But overall, I can't wait to see how it actually feels going down the road, stopping, cornering, stuff like that. I put all new. I started flushing the system in the front. Gonna flush the rear, obviously. I bought a giant bottle of the Valvoline synthetic DOT3 brake fluid. On the master cylinder, it says strictly use DOT3. Hence why I got the synthetic that you can use it in both. So yeah, 10 out of 10. Everything he gives in the package fit perfectly on the truck. I didn't have to modify anything of his. I did have to modify my own stuff because I'm a goob and I messed it up. Not any fault of David's. So I just want to go ahead and clarify that. He built an incredible kit. Honestly, you can't ask for any better quality. He really took pride and showmanship into his work and tried to make this a flawless kit with a flawless set of instructions. Be better than I am and actually read the instructions. Because if you actually read them, then I think you can have a flawless installation, unlike what I did, which mine was, I wanted to go through it how I normally go through it. Sometimes I just like try to wing it and figure stuff out. And I kind of did that with this. But overall, I'm happy with it. If I could step back time a little bit, I'd get the right drill bit. But overall, I can't wait. And it already looks so much better. It makes me want to strip apart everything in that engine bay and completely redo it. So that's going to cause me more work. But I want to paint the truck anyways. I'm going to end the video. Alright, so you've watched the video. I said I was going to end the video in that last clip. Then I'm making an outro. I had more of an outro, and it was a long talking portion, and I was just rambling on. I was so tired. Basically, the only thing I'm going to finish up with is, I've harped on it up in the video. You saw, read your instructions, get the right tools, and if you have any questions about anything, call David. He will clearly talk to you about it, ask you what you want to do with your vehicle. He will make everything so simple. Hopefully this video is going to help people install this the correct way. Like I said, don't be like me. I've driven the truck now since I've done everything. I absolutely love it. The way it looks, the way it feels, the pedal feel. Overall, I would do it again and again. I have multiple other vehicles. I'm not going to do them yet because I really need power brakes on a Super Duty. But whenever I decide to get another project, whether it be another Fox body, whether it be some other Mustang, Camaro, other vehicle, truck, something, I'm highly going to probably go ahead and swap it over to manual brakes again. The kit that he provides, the master cylinder, the brackets, the bolts, the nuts, the hardware, everything from top to bottom is top tier. I would highly recommend him for anything. He's a very smart, intellectual person. He will help you. And honestly, I can't wait to enjoy many years with this truck because it's kind of my baby at this point. And honestly, I'm so glad to have him and his parts on the truck because I saw other kits on eBay and I couldn't pull the trigger on them. But overall, I'm happy with this kit. It looks good. It functions good. I drove the truck down the road the other day, and it handles like a dream. It stops like a dream. This is what my truck needed. Brakes were fine when they had power brakes, but to me, I just didn't want to put power brakes back on it. I had them in my 87. They felt better to me. It just, you get that raw feeling. And to me, it just brings back an experience. Now, honestly, I love power steering, but I'm tired of hearing the power steering one. I might look into trying to figure out how to do a manual steering rack. But that's for a later date. This was all on manual brakes. 100%. If you're on the fence about doing it, if you want to save some weight, if you want to do everything, just pull the trigger and do it. Call David, talk to him, get yourself set up right, and I promise you, you will not regret this decision. It's not a hard install, and if I can do it, anybody can do it. Trust me. At the end of the day, you're not going to regret it. This is the way to go if you are even remotely on the fence of saving weight and getting a better brake feel. I highly recommend it. So once again, thank you, David. All the help you did. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Sorry I messed it up in there in pieces, but I tried to correct it. I tried to put my little captions in there, and hopefully this will help y'all if you're on the fence, or if you want to install it yourself. Maybe this will be a good way to see if you can do it, or if you need to have help. There's no wrong with having help. I've just done everything on myself, by myself for years, so it's just easier for me. But at that, I'm going to close the video. Thank you once again. Love y'all, YouTube land. Enjoy your day, and come back for more videos in the future. Bye, y'all.